see pink and white. What do you see?
Mint, green, and gray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I see.
No.
ご存知のように、この写真は以前インターネット上でよく話題になりました。見たことがありますか？先のシーンは私と友人たちが何色に見えるかについて話したやりとりです。私たちが気づいたのはそれぞれ見え方が違うということです。次はアメリカの人気番組を見せます。そのテレビ番組ではこれがさらに別の次元と発展しました。
Today I want to talk about the biggest controversy since this dress. Do you remember this? All right, now I personally see a gold and white dress. How many people see a gold and white? Okay. All right. How many people see a blue and white dress? Just screaming doesn't make more of you. Just an arm up helps. All right. How many of you have heard of this Laurel and Yanny thing? Okay. All right. Not the comedy duo. They stopped touring years ago. The old Yanny and Laurel. All right. I'm talking about the viral sound that is tearing the nation apart. Listen carefully to this, and then you're going to tell me if you hear Laurel or Yanny.
Laurel. 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 Laurel.
Okay. How many people hear Laurel? How many people hear Yanny? Again, yelling does not make more of you. You still are not as many people as the correct people, which are Laurel. It is Laurel. It's Laurel. Now, Laurel. It's so easy. It's Laurel. So more of you hear Laurel. The people who hear Yanny, I'm going to have to ask you to leave because it's crazy, though, isn't it? I mean, we can hear the exact same thing and then hear something completely different. How many of you have husbands and you tell them to take the trash out and put the dishes away and they hear have a beer and take a nap? Totally same thing, and yet they hear. So this morning I heard something that blew my mind even more. Okay, I'm going to play a clip. Listen carefully to this. All right. Now I'm going to play a different clip.
The juice of lemons makes fine punch.
Now I'm going to play the first clip you heard. It's like a horror movie, isn't it? Clearly you could hear the juice of lemons, right? Makes fine punch. At first you just hear static, but then the brain knows what to listen for, and then you hear it. Apparently it comes down to pitch and the power of suggestion, and I think that's a good lesson to remember because, you know, there are times that we're going to disagree, and it doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong, and what makes you better is really listening to somebody else as long as they hear Laurel.
So what do you see? Do you see pink and white? Mint green and gray? Let me know in the comments. The correct answer is pink, of course. And how do you see the dress? Is it blue and black? Is it white and gold? The correct answer is blue and black. Just kidding. Well, actually, sometimes I see blue and black, and sometimes white and gold. It's really interesting. Let me know what you saw in the comments. Finally, did you hear Yanny or Laurel? I myself heard Laurel. This isn't just about colors or sounds. It's about how we all perceive the world differently. Have you ever had a moment where someone completely misunderstood you? Maybe you meant one thing, but they took it the wrong way? Like these emojis in the text message. For example, I once texted my friend, "Hey, we need to talk." I just meant I have something cool to share, but they panicked, thinking I was mad at them. They saw the same words I sent, but their perception changed the meaning completely. And this happens everywhere, in relationships, at work, in different cultures. Two people can experience the same phenomenon, the same conversation, but walk away with completely different interpretations. It's a reminder that sometimes we don't need to argue about who's right. We just need to listen and try to see things from the other person's perspective. So, what did you hear? Did you hear Laurel? Did you hear Yanny? And what colors did you see on the dress? Because at the end of the day, it's not always about who's right. It's about understanding how we all see the world differently. By the way, this is the original photo of the dress. Have you ever traveled to another country and realized that something totally normal for you is perceived differently by others? For example, in some cultures, making direct eye contact is a sign of confidence and honesty, but in others, it can feel aggressive or disrespectful. And think about humor. What's funny to one person might offend someone else. The way we hear, see, and understand things isn't universal. It's shaped by our experiences, upbringing, and even our emotions in the moment. So if we all see and hear things differently, how can we communicate better? It all comes down to one thing: listening. So listening isn't about staying quiet while the other person talks. It's about truly trying to understand where they're coming from. So let me give an example of the just listen rule. Let's say a friend comes to you and says, "I'm really upset today. My boss completely ignored my idea in a meeting." How do you respond? Most people jump into problem-solving mode. "Oh, just speak up next time," or "maybe they didn't hear you." But really, what they need is someone to just listen. Instead, try saying, "That sounds frustrating. What happened next?" Just letting someone talk can be more powerful than fixing the problem for them. Another example of listening is repeat and reflect. So, it's a great trick. So you repeat and reflect what the other person says. If someone tells you, "You never help around the house," instead of getting defensive, "Yes, I do," try reflecting. "It sounds like you feel I'm not helping enough." What would make things feel more balanced for you? This shows that you actually heard them instead of just waiting for your turn to talk. Now, the third example is to ask, don't assume. And that means, for example, if a friend seems distant, don't immediately assume they're mad at you. Instead of thinking, "They're ignoring me," ask, "Hey, I noticed you seem a little quiet today. Is everything okay?" Giving people a chance to explain instead of jumping to conclusions can prevent so many misunderstandings. So the next time you find yourself in a debate, whether it's about the dress, a text message, or even a serious argument, remember, when you hear or see something, it's not always the whole truth. And someone else's perspective is just as real to them as it is real to you. So instead of arguing, try listening. You might be surprised at what you learn.